You know, Zimbabweans, they so much want to be South Africans. I've never seen people with no pride. But for them, I'm Nigerians, and they're going to be taking surnames of South African ladies. I've never seen people with no pride. They want to be South Africans by hook or crook because they've messed up their own countries. You know, African foreigners, there's something else. Yes, there's something else in Fetu. And wherever they go, they mess up things. I mean, make this make sense. You run away from your Nigeria because you don't have toilets, there's defecations in the street, there's no order, 100 million people live below poverty. You go into a country in search of greener pastures. When you get there, you do exactly what you're doing in your country to lower the standard. It's like me, from Soweto, the township. I'm saying, you know what? I see the suburb, they're living well. When I get to the suburb, I start the noise pollution.
If you know yourself that you're not South African, please stand up. Please stand up. Please don't try us. Stand up right now. Stand up. Sister, are you South African? Are you South African? Because we are going to check everybody. Check them. No, come forward. Please, if you're not South African, come with me. Come. Come with me. Come.
This is a South African man in the country of South Africa who is forcefully driving out foreigners from healthcare centers, clinics and hospitals that he believes should only serve locals, should only serve South African citizens. And he believes that they should go and pay for medication from private clinics. My question to this brother is this: are you also going to drive out the foreign doctors in that very clinic who are there to treat South Africans?
Yeah, but you can go to Unjani, block P there, or Butila Hospital, go. Hey, fast. Because Zimbabwe, you run fast and go to the border. Hurry. Madam South African? If you know yourself what the people of South Africa, please stand up. If you know yourself that you're not South African, all these nurses and doctors, they are here for South Africans. Get them South Africa. Please stand up. Don't try us. What's that? You run fast in the border.
South Africans have been complaining that foreigners are taking their jobs. Does that include doctors and healthcare professionals who save lives? Are you also going to kick out the doctor because he's from Kenya, because he's from Zimbabwe? Number two, companies that are foreign owned that provide employment to South Africans, are you going to chase them out of the country too? Spar is not from South Africa, but it provides jobs to South Africans. Are you going to kick them out too? McDonald's is not from South Africa. KFC is not from South Africa. Are you going to kick out the owners of those businesses because they are not South African? Now, I'm not saying that there's no healthcare crisis in SA. I don't know. But at the end of the day, whose fault is it really that there's a healthcare crisis? What efforts have you meted out to the government for them to put healthcare in order and make sure that resources are rightly distributed and managed for South Africans to benefit from them? Have you fought corruption the same way you're putting these foreigners' lives? Have you used the same energy to fight corruption that you've used to drive out these foreigners whose lives are on the line now that you've kicked them out of the hospital, who obviously don't have the money to go to private institutions? Do you want South Africans to be treated this same way when they go and work in America, go work in the UK, go work in Australia, or any other country in Africa? If the South African situation got worse and South Africans started looking for employment in other countries that will be doing better at that time, are you comfortable with this exact thing happening? Because you know that some countries like Nigeria, they are trigger happy. The moment this starts happening to their Nigerian brothers, there's going to be beef in Nigeria if there are any South Africans living there.
Operation Dudula is playing with your life. Chasing away undocumented immigrants from our hospitals and clinics is going to backfire very badly. Operation Dudula is manufacturing South Africa's next pandemic, and nobody is stopping them. You don't have to be a genius to see where this is going. When you block people from getting treated for infectious diseases such as TB, HIV, or COVID, these diseases will spread in your community. These people are not going to leave the country just because you prevented them from accessing our hospitals. They will stay, and a lot of them live right next door to you. So when they get sick from a new disease, guess who's going to catch it next? Our townships are going to become breeding grounds for diseases which are resistant to antibiotics. These are illnesses we won't be able to treat with regular medication. The township will be filled with sick, untreated people with contagious diseases. Operation Dudula is going to turn the most densely populated places in South Africa into biohazards. The next deadly disease is not going to come from China. It's going to come from Soweto, Deep Sloot, or Tembisa, because some of you thought that kicking out sick people from our hospitals was a smart idea. This is not xenophobia anymore. What Operation Dudula is doing should be classified as biological terrorism. So when the next outbreak begins, don't act confused. Don't look for someone to scapegoat. Just look in the mirror and say, thank you, Dudula. You gave us this disease. You wanted to see undocumented immigrants suffer? Well, congratulations. Now we're all going to suffer, and I hope it was worth it.
I want you to watch this video over here of South African women that are denying a Zimbabwean woman and her children healthcare in South Africa. They are persecuting this woman and her children on the basis that she's a Zimbabwean and on the basis that she is illegal. That is discrimination. It is against South African law. No South African has a right to identify anyone as an illegal immigrant or anybody as somebody who shouldn't be in South Africa. That is the job of Home Affairs. No South African has the right to deny anyone healthcare in South Africa on the pretext that they are illegal because you don't know their papers and their status. This is before I remind you that the Constitutional Court of South Africa made a ruling in which they said that any women and children that are foreign, refugees, or even illegal are entitled to healthcare in South Africa. And that's before I remind you of the Refugee Convention that says any person, man, woman, child, who runs away from their country into another country, running away from persecution, such a person is a refugee even if they've entered the country illegally. They must be regularized and given papers for them to be a refugee, and then they must be given a job, basic healthcare, and other basic needs. This convention is clear that even if a person is illegal, if they are running away from persecution, that person still remains a refugee. The fact that a person does not know how to apply for refugee status, the fact that they don't have the knowledge, does not make them any less of a refugee. That means that any Zimbabwean that ran from the persecution of illegal Western sanctions and the destruction caused by those very same illegal Western sanctions is entitled to being realized as a refugee and to be regularized by the South African government. So, this is persecution of refugees. It is persecution of women and children that are entitled to healthcare in South Africa. And the question that all of us have is, when did Africans start becoming illegal immigrants in South Africa? Considering that when the leaders of South Africa went into exile, they had no papers. They moved into our countries without papers. And when they got into our countries without papers, they were regularized by our governments because they entered into those countries on the pretext that no African is illegal in Africa. When Chris Hani and his group were fighting against the Rhodesian government in Zimbabwe, that was Rhodesia at that time, they fought, and when they got defeated, they ran into Botswana. When they got into Botswana, they were arrested. After being arrested, the AU sent a delegation to Botswana, and that delegation told the Botswana government that no African is illegal in Africa. And because of that, Bo Chris Hani, who had been sentenced to many years in prison, were released in 6 months. There was an understanding by the South African leadership that no one is an illegal immigrant in Africa. But today, they've forgotten this. Today, they've forgotten that they taught Africa what immigrating into a country without papers is, and they got papers in those countries and were regularized in line with the Refugee Convention. by African leaders, but South Africa has not done the same for Africans. Why? And don't forget that by coming into these neighboring countries as illegal immigrants, the Boers attacked those countries. They bombed those countries. They invaded those countries with their armies. And so those countries had to defend their territory because they wanted to keep South African exiles in their land. No African country would have been invaded had they ejected the leaders of the ANC. And let me tell you, there were wars fought in Namibia, wars fought in Angola, wars fought in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Botswana. In Zimbabwe, we fought a war for 6 years in Matabeleland against rebels that were being funded in Matabeleland, just like M23 is said by South Africa to be funded by Rwanda. In Mozambique, we fought 12 years of war, where the apartheid government special forces were working to try and destroy our oil pipeline so that we can't fight apartheid. And they were trying to destroy, together with a group of rebels called Renamo, that again you can equate to M23, that South Africa says is funded by Rwanda. They say that because they know that the apartheid government funded Renamo. So you have to understand that there were wars that were fought that cost over $100 billion to liberate South Africa in neighboring countries, while neighboring countries were also destroyed by economic sanctions by apartheid companies of South Africa. This region of SADC lost over $110 billion then, which if you multiply today, you will see that it's over 400 billion. And South Africa never paid that money. The apartheid companies were shielded by the ANC when independence came. They became part and parcel of SADC. We could not make them pay reparations. Today, after that suffering for the freedom of South Africa, Africans are made to feel like they are inferior. But the Constitutional Court is making rulings that are clear that women and children of SADC must get health care if they are in this country. The aspect of whether they are legal or not should be dealt with by Home Affairs, who should eject them accordingly. But no South African citizen has a right to determine who is legal and who is not when they are not Home Affairs officials. And in time, we will have to go to the International Court of Justice to deal with this persecution of civilians. We cannot have people denying healthcare to sick women and children in South Africa. And what is interesting is you behave like this, anti-African, but a war is coming your way. You've got citizens in your country that are going to be funded by the Americans to try and destroy your country so that they can be able to take your land in Western Cape. Who will defend you? Who will stand by you?
Operation Dudula got 3% in a by-election in Soweto, where they make a whole lot of noise. Where they make noise, they got only 3%. It's a clear indication that the people are disagreeing with whatever they are doing. They be like, no, we don't want to associate with these guys. They are very terrible. They are very, very insulting and everything else in one basket. No, it's not only that. Their leader was asked in national TV, what is frontline state? She didn't even answer frontline states because she don't know the history of collaboration with the people. African countries, Lesotho, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, collaboration of military alliance to combat apartheid. She don't know. That's why she be like, Baba Hambe where? This is our people who helped us to fight the white people who subjected us through racial segregation. If there's somebody who need to go, is the people who put us through apartheid, not people who took us from apartheid to freedom. That is why she don't know what is frontline state. Where are you coming from? Asna Makaya. Hey, Lesotho kids are schooling. What are you talking about? Lesotho people are our people. Don't you know that? This is what happens when we are subjected to gibberish leaders, political wannabes. They will be exposed. I know the other one from what is it? Patriotic Alliance. That one, Victoria Africa. Is there any surname such as Africa in South Africa? Anybody with the surname Africa, please comment there. We wanna see you guys, especially if you're from Soweto or something. These people are nothing but a scam to South Africa, but they will be exposed because there's no surname such as Africa, Victoria Africa. What's that? Huh? Anybody with a surname Africa in Soweto or any surrounding area who is a South African citizen, raise your hand. I want to see something. There's no such. These people are just people from outside coming here bored to divide us. Go study frontline estate. Go study frontline states. You will understand that we didn't get here by ourselves. We needed help and we got help. But in any case, it's Monday. I'm signing out.
And futhi angazi ukuthi nginitshele kangakhi as South Africans ukuthi we need to seriously start gatekeeping indaba ze-politics. We cannot just allow any Tom and Dick and Harry to just wake up and be like, I'm gonna open a political party, and then we get excited for that person. That needs to come to an end. Indaba yokuthi nje nanoma ubani nje uzodecide in this country ukuthi I have the right to have a political party just because unama fans nyana I'm hyper is completely unacceptable. We need to start the vetting process, basic vetting process from us as a South African people. Questions like, wena ofuna ukuvula political party, did you belong to any youth league? From the existing current political parties, are you a member or were you once a member of any youth league? Do you hold a political degree? Something in economic, public relations, anything? Political science? Do you hold any political degree? Okay, you don't. Abazali bakho, were they part of Umzabalazo? All right, they were not. Is it possible by any chance ukuthi wena as umuntu oclaim ukuthi ufuna ukuvula political party, were you part of Umzabalazo? You were not. And then the rest will leave it to the political aspect. But no, as a South African, sivele sibe excited nje, umuntu nje ne clout nyana, friction nyana, SSC hyped up. Next elections we're gonna vote. Umuntu ocula abahambi abobani. Umuntu ongazi nix uyangifraza mina mawuzokhuluma ngokuthi African people must leave. Wena ucabanga ukuthi uncedo ubani? For South Africa to be where it is. I know I've spoken, you know what, the day where Dudula becomes a ruling party will never come. But for some reason, I'm actually quite interested to see. Simanis shift as South Africans and see what will happen. I need to itudula I fully pel ama foreigners. It's not a matter of documented or undocumented. Itudula I funi at all black foreigners. So basically itudula, if it's ruling South Africa, is sevenza nama European and Americans and no Africans. I'd love to see how that relationship would go without any help or assistance of any African country. Ulphathe nje wena izwe uyiwine with your land, with your resources that you want to preserve for South Africans. Sibona ukuthi uzowadla waqede uzoziqeda zonke inkomo nemfuyo uyiwine unganamuntu ozomthengisela lezo zinto lezo. Shift nje as Africans. Angazi ukuthi singachiftela phi baliphathekele lizwe lesibona ukuthi bazolisaphi. A leader who has no relationships, who doesn't know how to build and maintain relationships with other African countries, who's constantly provoking other African leaders and their people when they are in her country. What kind of a political party that you claim you Dudula people are going to go and vote for? After the incident that happened during the week, I understand that the caliber of people that keep on commenting on my post that are anti-xenophobic. Ikaliber yetidula nje ayifundanga. They can't even write a decent, I can't even say a paragraph, just 2 lines, a decent nje, without cursing. They just abo-stratmate, abo-pumaswili nje, inhlamba nje into abayenzayo. Those are the people you want to represent you, a parliament, South Africans. Abantu abangazi ukuthi abobani abasinceda to get where we are as a South African people. Ukuthi sibabonge and appreciate those people. Other countries, when you travel to them, you see by the majority of the foreigners who are in that country, it will tell you ukuthi those are the countries, the kind of relationship they have with those countries. It will tell you ukuthi those are the countries who assisted them during war or during whatever struggle they were going through that time. Then when they were liberated, then they return back their favor. The people from those countries can come and work, can come and do business. It's more favorable for them rather than other foreign countries, because those are the people who were with them during the tough times. Maranina, you don't want to return the favor. You have issues right now. If parties like Dudula have issues with even people that are foreign nationals documented, as long as they are black, they must go. Ansangitshela ukuthi uleadership yenu akazi ukuthi what is the first line state. Utheni, what was the answer? Namangazi, but mina I will tell you ukuthi what were the first line countries that help us during the time of struggle. These are the countries that helped us. Yababon, just go through it. Yababon, amazizimbani, amazazai, whatsoever that you call them, amakwere now, amakwere. Uyayibona lapha in Europe or USA? No, nowhere to be found. Those were our first line countries who helped us. Since leadership here doesn't know what's a first line state, you don't understand ukuthi we are, should I say, a giant or whatever. The United States of South Africa. It is supposed to be that other countries seek help from us. We are the more advanced. Yes, resources and whatever. We have a bit of everything. It is supposed to be that immigrants are flocking to this country and they must be embraced. And please don't dare come to me about legal or illegal, because you know your problems. Your problems have no legal or illegal. Your problems have black, African, foreigner. That's your problem. They are supposed to be flocking in here, especially Labin Abafuni at all, Zimbabwe, the Zimbos. They have every right, Bonage even Bawes, because they are breaking away from this country. So that's the leadership you want. I after all that I've said, saying no, Niti yes. My party Dudula, I just want to see something.